So, of course, Innovation, one of the, I don't know, do we want to call them super aces that make up Kites of Gaming? Because, honestly, while Kites of Gaming is not at the top of the World Team League, they are certainly powerful indeed. Zinego Pombo, beyond his place in Group B, so he will be playing next Monday against Patience in the first match of Group B, and then, you know, winner's match, loser's match, whatever. This is Group A. So this is Innovation, ZOUN, Bunny, and Rogue. But I'm kind of interested to see what exactly type of shenanigans ZOUN does throw out on the map here in this game number 1. Because again, he's ZOUN, right? He is a creative Protoss, shall we say. He's got all manner of interesting builds. And that's not to say he can't play straight up, because he certainly can. And PvT is probably his best matchup. But he does have the propensity for the strange, for the wild, for the absurd. Although, are they truly absurd if they work? That's a different question indeed. Innovation for his part is going Marine into Reactor, which does allow him to get that faster factory, which does allow him to either maybe get a couple additional barracks if that's what he wants to go for, but it looks like this will just be a 1-1-1 opener from our Terran player. Maybe Widowmine drops, maybe Hellion drops. We're going to have to see what exactly Innovation does go for, but noticeably ZOUN has not opened to depth, so getting that early Marine, getting that bunker, not all that impactful. However, he will open Stargate, and Stargate honestly very good against a lot of the different builds, a lot of the different harassment styles that Innovation can go into off of this opener. It's going to be good against Widowmines, it's going to be good against Hellions. And we do see our first Hellion on the map, but again, it's only one Hellion. Oh, there we go. So we're actually reacted Hellion. So we're going to see Hellion drops get started on in here for Innovation, but they're not going to be the slightly more committed version, where you proxy your starport out on the map, which, you know, you get your starport back, and it's still your standard expand build, so it's not that big of a deal, but it does mean you don't have starport production there for a little bit as you do run back. So, 2 Hellions. Actually, no, it's just going to be Hellion scouting and Widowmine drops. Okay. There we go. Oracle now out on the map here as we do have Phoenix behind this, so ZOUN should be well prepared to deal with any sort of Widowmine harassment that comes on in here. So the drop's coming off now, which does mean that there should be 2 Phoenix out by the time that this drop does arrive, and there's absolutely nothing on into the main base. ZOUN did scout the fact that all of the Widowmines had been picked up and put in that medevac, so he's not all that worried about diving on into a middle line, getting, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 workers. Because he understands that Innovation really doesn't have anything that he has to be afraid about. He has counted the factory production. He knows how much is available right now. As these 3 SCVs are actually disappointingly... Why would you do that? But anyway, so now we will have Innovation try to drop on into the main base. He was unsuccessful in the natural. ZOUN's got a perfect pull here on into the main base. He's going to lose 2 probes. 2 probes and a stalker for... Oh, wait, never mind. The Hellions dive on into the natural, and suddenly that is more than... the damage is more than worthwhile. That being said, of course, ZOUN got his damage done as well. And with that being the case, while he did lose 7 workers, which he did, he is still up 7. And that just means he's not quite as far ahead as he otherwise would be, as this drop's going to find its way out on the map here. And with the Widowmines, well, Innovation just trying to bait it out. I don't believe these are cloaked. No, they're not. So he's just trying to bait it out, but ZOUN's aware of what that is. He saw them in vision. So Innovation's going to try to get this drop on in once again, hoping against hope that while ZOUN was paying attention the first time, he was not paying attention the second time. But ZOUN, he will have the pull once again. Another probe will go down eventually. And there we go. Okay, with the Phoenix here, that's going to be not a lot. But now we'll have a couple of depths. They're going to find their way on into the main base. And of course, at depths, they take 3 shots to kill SCVs, not 2. But it does look at the very least that ZOUN was able to knock down the 2 SCVs that were on 5 HP. That were, of course, mining at that mining the gas out. So it's gonna be rather nice. 4 more workers do go down. ZOUN with a 12-worker lead to start this game. Even if he did take some damage, well, he definitely gave it back in spades. And now Innovation, well, he's gonna add a couple additional barracks. Stim is on the way. +1 is on the way. He's going for that +1 Stim combat shield timing that of course will be slightly delayed, because he did, of course, A, open Widowmine drops, and B, he took 11 SCVs worth of damage. But of course, ZOUN, for his part, is actually getting Blink on top of these Phoenix, which is really weird. Normally, you get Blink or Phoenix in the early game, because they kind of accomplish the same goal. But now ZOUN, oh, he's gotten both. And he will get a Robo, and most likely a Robo Bay behind this, as I guess he just wants to go into Blink Stock or Colossus behind this. But again, Phoenix, they do the same role, right? They deal with Vikings in the sky. They allow for drop harass. Or I should say they defend drop harass. You can harass with them. So getting these Blink Stalkers here is a bit weird. As ZOUN is opening up, getting up to 5 gates. And Innovation, I'm sorry, he's going for +1 Stim Combat Shield timing. But it's going to be a far more delayed than normally would be, because it does come with a third base, which I did not notice earlier. Apologies there. But ZOUN will find this third base. He's like, okay, I see roughly where we're at, and Blink is now done, so he can certainly be active on the map with this. There are no tanks, and Innovation does not have Stim, so this is just going to be a game of ZOUN for the time being, for the next 20-odd seconds of him just dancing around with these Stalkers, until Stim is done, where he does have to, you know, run away with extreme haste. His Blink Stalkers do not fight Stim Bio. But now he will be able to get this Marauder. Oh, did he get the Marauder? No, he did not. Nice pickup there from Innovation. See, I thought I saw him pick it up, but I didn't see anything in the medevac, so I guess Innovation just hot picked it up and dropped it immediately, just to break the, just to disjoint the projectile. But, oh, that stasis trap. That's going to keep ZOUN incredibly safe here. So Innovation, he's trying to push. He does have +1 Stim combat shields, all those fun things, but oh, Stalkers are not going to get that medevac. They are going to try, and they almost will, but they are 1 Stalker short of 1 tap potential. But now, of course, with the Sentries here, we have Innovation desperately trying to take this fight. And ZOUN is really opening himself up to a flank, which is kind of surprising. I did not expect to see him try to take that fight, but he will lose all of his Sentries. We'll lose one of the Phoenix as well, perhaps even a second. And ZOUN is going to be forced back here because the Colossus is not out. And this is one of the problems when you go Blink Stalkers and Phoenix, right? Blink Stalkers don't really fight Stim Bio all that well, especially not with +1. So, I mean, it's not that great. I mean, yes, it looks like ZOUN will be able to survive here with some fantastic Blink Micro, but the rally from Innovation is starting to move across the map here, and this is honestly starting to look like game-breaking damage. Now, Zealots are going to get warped on in here, but Charge is not done yet. So that means Innovation will just be able to continuously micro against this. And again, there is more where that came from. His rallies are now starting to move their way across the map, and suddenly, well, it looks like ZOUN is going to be able to hold, and it looks like he just barely will. Innovation has a lot, and he, well, you know what, he's going to lift up into the medevacs. 2 of the medevacs are going to go down, and suddenly ZOUN is in a much better spot here. It's now only a 20 supply lead instead of a 40. So now we have ZOUN looking for the counterattack here, as he's going to say, ah, yes, your army is getting a little bit weak. I can chase that down. And he actually will be able to do so, but now we have more rallies coming on in. And now, ZOUN, you got to rethink your ideas here. You got to rethink your mistakes, because now Innovation's going to stem on top of things. All these Stalkers are going to go down at the very least. And will he be able to get on into the speed zone and get on top of this Colossus? That's the really big deal. 1 Colossus is going to go down. 2nd Colossus is not going to go down. Innovation doesn't have quite the army or quite the health to really accomplish that. But at the end of the day, solid trades for Innovation, even as he does find himself down just a little bit in that army supply lead that he once did have. So now we have a regular tug of war happening here on this map. Innovation trying to push, ZOUN also trying to push, but more importantly trying to prevent Innovation from pushing, really, as now Innovation's going to stem on into the natural. We will see a gateway get targeted down and a shield battery as well, so Innovation's going to put himself in pole position. Now there's a disruptor here. Innovation's going to try to stem on top of it. Yeah, he's not going to win that. He's not going to win that, but he will lose only a microcosm of his army, as that, you know, part of the army was stemming on off to deal with that here. But honestly, this army is not big enough here for Innovation to really take this fight. I mean, he's going to try to dance at the edge of things, but this is not an army, I don't think, that can actually just kill the army of ZOUN here. But if Innovation gets on top of this Colossus, which he just barely will, but the shield battery will keep everything alive. Oh, good micro there from ZOUN. Yeah, he'll lose it at the end of the day, but Maybe that was too much. That being said, though, Innovation looks like he just has too much here in this game. GG, Innovation. He's going to take game number 1. And again, that's the issue with going for Blink Stalkers out of Phoenix. You go for 2 tech paths that do the same thing, neither of which are super good at defending a full frontal push, and surprise Pikachu face, you know, it doesn't work out. So now we're going to have to see what ZOUN has planned for us here on this game number 2. It will be on Oxide. It's going to be a bit shorter of a map. And hopefully we'll see ZOUN, well, go for a style that maybe has a little bit more beef to it. Because again, if he'd gone Phoenix into charge lots and gotten Colossus with that, I would have liked that a whole lot more. You know, warping in 8-gate charge lot with a Colossus on the way to deal with that first push is a whole lot more powerful than trying to deal with it with Blink Stalkers in like 3 Phoenix. Because he stopped Phoenix production too. Now, I guess the idea is to, you know, force Innovation into a tech path that deals with something that he didn't build because he only built 3 Phoenix. But again, Phoenix and Colossus, or Phoenix and Stalkers, you deal with them in the same way. So, and they do the same thing. So I'm not sure how much of a fan I was of that. But anyway, game number 2, it's loaded on up. Innovation does have that 1-0 lead. Let's go. Spawning in the upper right, in the blue, of course, representing Alpha X here. Down 1 game in this series, but certainly not out. He is ZOUN. And his opponent in the bottom left in the red, winning through constant pushes in game number 1 for Kites Gaming. Give it up for Innovation. Or, considering last game, I suppose I should say Winovation. Because, you know, he won the game. It's funny. Good morning, Zeiss. Well, evening, afternoon, whatever time it is for you. Welcome, welcome. It's early morning for me. Didn't get enough sleep, but the passion for these games is what sustains me. As we're hopefully going to get some fantastic games here in these 5 series over the course of the next couple hours today. So Innovation looks like he's going to be opening up with a Reaper expand in this game just based off the gas timings, and there we go. Reaper is going to be on the way, which makes sense, right? The Reaper gets across the map a good deal faster here on Juggernaut than you would, or on Oxide than you would on Juggernaut, so you can actually make use of things. Right, you can actually maybe get some damage done there. That being said, of course, ZOUN, he's going to try to delay this command center as much as possible on the off chance that he does decide to open Adept, and then, well, maybe he can delay things, especially with it being a Reaper opener and the Reaper being across the map. That being said, of course, ZOUN has not really shown a desire to open Adept in the games I've seen from him. Not going to say he's not going to, and there we go, Adept on the way. But certainly he didn't do it in game number 1. But both players kind of had this gentleman agreement in the first, like, 3 minutes of the game. I mean, 4 minutes they were both, you know, slapping each other with harassment, but 3 minutes in, nothing too early. So we do have this defensive Adept opening up here, and Innovation's going to juke it out. So the Adept will not find its way on into the main base. I don't believe we have a shield battery on the way, so theoretically, this Reaper can get some sort of damage, and it's already going to get 1 probe, which, you know, more than it would otherwise do, and nice macro there from Innovation, dodging and diving and dipping and dodging and diving away from the, away from that Reaper, away from that Adept, making sure that the Reaper does not go down. And I have a second gate on the way here for ZOUN. Pretty early, actually. Okay, so this is actually going to be the parting build. Got it. So we've 2 gates on the way home, and then we will see a 3rd gate here on the underway abroad as soon as that pylon does finish. And we're just going to see some committed pressure here from ZOUN as, there we go, 3rd gate on the way. This is the parting build. This has been killing Terrans all over ladder for like the last week and a half. No, not last week and a half, last month. And yes, Terrans have gotten better at dealing with it. But actually, wait, never mind. This isn't the parting build. This is too late. The parting build kind of runs on in there as the command center finishes. It starts doing damage there. So, never mind. This is not quite the parting build. This is just going to be 3-gate pressure coming on in here from ZOUN, which the parting build also does. But Anyway, there we have a Robo, we have a Twilight on the way, so this is going to be Blink Stalkers behind this. And I like this idea from ZOUN, right? So what he's going to do is he's going to say, look, if I put pressure on you now, that's going to make it harder for you to survive later, which does then mean that maybe I can snowball this, right? If I don't let you get what you want. So Stalkers are going to move across the map here. We do have a Raven on the way, and it looks like there's a drop going on to the other side of the map. Yeah, double Widowmine drop on the other side of the map here that Innovation's going to try to get some damage done with, but that means there are no Widowmines at home that he can really defend. So it's going to be 5 Stalkers. What's the critical mass that Jones going to wait for? Okay, so it's going to be, yeah, 5 Stalkers, 2 Adepts. They're going to try to dive on into the natural here. And Joan, he's not paying attention, so the Widowmine's going to go off with significant damage, but only 3 workers, actually, surprisingly enough. I kind of would have expected more, and Joan will pull the natural, or will pull the main base at the very least. So he's going to be okay, and he will be able to get some sort of commensurate damage here on the other side of the map here. 5 SCVs have died already, and we're going to have to see some other Warpins. Now, this Widowmine is going to try to sit here on top of the probes, and Joan is going to be fine. That being said, of course, Joan has been denied so much mining over the course of this game that, well, yes, Joan does have a worker lead. I mean, look at that. Innovation has been far, far ahead. The question, though, is whether Innovation will be able to survive, because we do have a bunker on the way, of course. That's going to be rather nice, and we do have more and more Marines on the way, but every time Innovation tries to take this fight, more SCVs die. More Marines die. I would love to see Joan target this Raven down, but no. He's going to have to deal with the Marines, because those are really the more pressing threat. His Innovation has lost 10 SCVs, and I'm very surprised that Joan did not lose more there with that Widowmine drop, because, well, he didn't pull his natural, but Innovation, without the proper targeting, only got 3 probes. So now, Joan, once again, he has a 12 worker lead. He's down an army, of course, because that's just how these things go. But he will have Colossus a lot faster in the context of the game than he did in game number 1. His blink is just about done here, and he's going to have a bigger... Well, actually, no, he's not. I was going to say he was going to have a bigger blink timing compared to the previous game, but that's not quite true. Right? His blink is now done. Stim is done in 20, 30 seconds. So, in the context of that, I mean, the timing is very similar. Alright, so now Innovation's going to move out on the map here. Stim is done in just now, so that does mean the Stalkers are going to have to be a little bit more afraid. But here's the thing, we have Ravens on the way, we have tanks on the way, so even if this one Colossus is done, which I believe it is. No, it's not. Oh. Wasn't there a Colossus on the way? Or no, there was a Robobay that was finishing. Okay, so now we have a Colossus on the way here. Bio's going to stim on in and actually surround the Stalkers here of Joan just a little bit. Now, Joan's going to try to take this fight, but he can't really do that. So the tanks are going to siege on up here. We do have a Raven on as well in case this Colossus ever actually does get out. But I'm getting pretty worried about Joan in this game as well. It feels like he's doing all these fancy early game shenanigans, and then at the end of the day, well, he's just kind of getting bopped. Not in the way that Innovation is, you know, a better player, but Innovation's going for these aggressive builds, and Joan just doesn't have what he needs to defend it. But now we do have a Colossus out, but it doesn't really matter, of course, because it's going to be disabled. GG. Innovation, he's going to take game number 2 and move his way on to the winner's match.